Something doesn't add up in Erika Kirk's comments on her dead husband's book. She just admitted something that she did in such a way that is super surprising. And she did this on a week where it's weird enough on its own, but when you see what else she's been up to, it paints a pretty damn clear picture that shit ain't right. Even the manosphere can pick up on this.
And when we go over this risk analysis, they hear what we're saying, but they don't want to take action.
Very weird. She's doing a CIA informational video.
Weird.
Like an acting gig, or is this something else?
Perhaps, or, but even so, you're doing an acting gig for the CIA. Who calls you for that?
Yeah.
You ever get one of those calls?
No.
No, I never got one of those calls.
And my agent never hit me with that one.
Yeah. It's odd. Well, there's a lot of people that think that she was his handler.
So what Erika Kirk is doing beyond body language and speech patterns and the t-shirt cannon toss is something that's pointing to needing more investigation. And well, I found a convicted murderer who did the same exact thing that Erika Kirk is doing right now. The similarities made me put my phone down. And we're going to get into that and into the admission that Erika Kirk made that let us know exactly where her priorities lie. And real quick, I'm Loren Piretra. Willa Piretra will occasionally bring me the BALL and Huff below me. And we currently, if you're new here, have a lead on Katie Miller, who is the wife of Stephen Little Bitch Miller, the pale white nationalist from Santa Monica, behind all of the ICE and immigration terror. She's building a podcast on the backs of trafficked immigrants, and we are bootstrapped. So consider every sub, every hype, every follow, every comment, 6 words or more, every save, every share, every action as a direct FU to Katie and Stephen Little Bitch Miller. So start with me here because this timeline matters more than anything. So we know that Charlie Kirk got in broad daylight on September 10th. Turning Point USA was having an event at Utah Valley University. The shooter turned himself in the next day. Pretty quickly after that, Erika Kirk steps into Charlie's role as CEO of Turning Point USA. I don't know why I did that one. But here's where it starts to feel off. Instead of laying low and grieving privately and letting things settle, instead of just like not poking the bear, Erika Kirk starts sending legal letters to people who are publicly asking questions about her, to multiple people in conservative media, all asking the same basic question about what happened to her husband. And then we had the Aloe store incident, which I covered a few days ago. A TikToker went viral claiming that Erika Kirk went on a $1,000 plus shopping spree at the Aloe yoga store, like 12 hours after Charlie had been allegedly tipped off by an anonymous Aloe employee who leaked her purchase history. Turns out these transactions were real. And within days, a Turning Point USA staffer, Elizabeth McCoy, came forward and clarified, I was the one who made the Aloe purchase, not Erika, it was me. McCoy explained that the team rushed to Utah after Charlie was with nothing but clothes on their backs. And the next morning, she went out to grab essentials and clothing for the team, and Erika with Aloe being the nearest store. So let me tell you about McCoy too. Elizabeth McCoy is the administrative director of events for Turning Point USA. She was raised in Santa Barbara, and she grew up in a family of conservative Russian immigrants. She became the executive assistant to the COO of Turning Point USA in 2020 and married Charlie Kirk's chief of staff, Mikey McCoy. A little fraternization, if you will, okay? If you look at her Instagram, I'm gonna pull it up, full of, it looks like a Trump Charlie Kirk fan page, full of Trump photos, full of conservative riffraff, hoopla, really curating an image here. We know where her loyalties lie, clearly. And then here's the potential legal angle. Attorney Danny Curran told Fox News that the leak of Erika's shopping spree could constitute a privacy breach and that Aloe may be exposed to a lawsuit under the Utah Consumer Privacy Act, which is also known as UCPA. Since the purchase and the disclosure both occurred in Utah, and since this went down, Erika herself has not commented. Aloe has not released a statement or confirmed whether they identified the employee responsible. And a Turning Point USA staffer called the attack cruel and vicious and planned and manufactured. Feels a little bit coordinated to me, but that's not even the worst part. While all this is going down, Erika admits this.
The last few chapters, and it's not because of timing, it's just because my heart's not there yet. There's going to be the first and last time that I read that book for the first time, and so I'm really just trying to put my time on that.
She is trying so hard to PR herself out of that answer when she should have just shut her mouth. She was asked, so have you read your husband's book? Or I don't know what she was asked, but she went on to say, no, I didn't. And you only get so many first, so I'm holding off on. She went on a multi-city tour. She stood at podiums, on stages. She looked fans in the eye, signed copies, took their money, and never read the book. Not one page of her dead husband's work that she is selling. Then I touched on this briefly yesterday. In the most recent letter, the one from this week, they sent a cease and desist to a guy named Colin Campbell, who runs an account called Project Constitution. And I'm reading through it, and I get to this part where Kirk's legal team tells Campbell he needs to preserve all of his evidence, his cell phone records, his signal messages, everything on his shared drives. But this is where we start to connect the dots. And Erika Kirk isn't the only person who did something like this. Let me tell you about Drew Peterson. Drew Peterson was a cop outside Chicago. His third wife, Kathleen, turns up in a dry bathtub in 2004. Bruised, gash in her scalp, ruled an accidental drowning. Then his fourth wife, Stacy, just vanishes in 2007, never found. And Drew Peterson's response to all this is to go on television and do interviews and crack jokes and completely act like a man with nothing to hide. Then Lifetime announces they're making a movie about him with Rob Lowe playing him. And this man lost his shit. His lawyers sent cease and desist letters to Rob Lowe, to Lifetime, to A&E, to Disney, called them a lynch mob, told them to shut production down by the end of day Friday, threatened to sue Geraldo Rivera by name. And one of his lawyers actually argued that Drew deserved a cut of the profits because, quote, it's his story. Lifetime looked at every single one of those letters and aired the movie anyway. In Lifetime, I got an idea for you. Get in touch with me. Drew Peterson was eventually convicted of murdering Kathleen. 38 years. Then convicted again for trying to have his own prosecutor. Now, here's where I also need to mention something that happened this week for the people who missed it completely. Jeff Webb, we talked about this yesterday, the man who founded Varsity Spirit, considered to be Charlie Kirk's one of his closest mentors and the godfather of cheerleading, died in a very bizarre way after falling during a pickleball game. He had severe head trauma. Very Ivana Trump. His family removed him from life support, pulled the plug. Webb was at the White House when Charlie was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He was one of the people closest to Charlie Kirk in his final years of life. And I'm not saying anything. I'm just repeating what I'm hearing. I'm just saying the people who were closest to Charlie Kirk, who knew most about his world, are disappearing from the picture one way or another. And the person left standing is sending legal letters to everyone who asks questions about it. Christina Holbrook, a lawyer on Twitter, put it very plainly. She read the whole thing, but the short version is this. If Erika Kirk files a lawsuit that triggers discovery and discovery goes down, it goes both ways. Her text, what she was doing before Charlie was, what she was doing the day of it, all becomes fair game the second she walks into a courtroom. The reason there has been letter after letter with no follow through is because filing is the one move that forces her to hand over everything she's been trying to keep quiet. Candace Owens got one of those letters and went on her podcast and called it a stunt. She's probably sitting there hoping Erika files just to watch what comes out. And if this is the first video of mine you're watching, again, I'm Loren Piretra. Willa Piretra is below me. We're going to keep digging in on this. We post daily. We'll soon be available on all streamers, so make sure you hit subscribe. This story is not going anywhere. You can follow me across socials. I am Loren P, and I am not going anywhere either.